never easy in the Steel City, and the Buccaneers ran into a buzzsaw despite a depleted secondary, a patchwork defense. The Steelers outplayed the Buccaneers on Sunday afternoon, and it resulted in a 20-18 upset victory by the home. Why is it so tough to play at Pittsburgh?
I tell you, well, after losing the way they lost last week, it's the NFL. These guys have pride. You knew that you were going to get their best effort today, and the Bucs started off slow. They had a 3-and-out, and then they had a short punt. They gave the Steelers good field position, and then, obviously they worked it down the field. They had a personal foul, obviously, roughing the passer by Devin White, and so you give up those points initially, but we just kept waiting and waiting and waiting for that Bucs offense to get going, and the defense settled down, did a good job to finish the first half, so you felt like they were going to come out and get it done, but then in the second half, the kickoff gets returned to your own 11. Tremendous effort by Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis to run the returner Sims down, and you wind up giving up a field goal, so you still feel good, like you're waiting for them to get going. And offensively, knowing that the defensive backfield of the Steelers was depleted, why didn't you target all those guys that you just got off the practice squad? You got Mike Evans on the outside, and you targeted him a couple times, but why not really go after those young guys and see if they can, compete with Mike Evans and stop him?
Mike was targeted 4 times. He made all 4 catches for 35 yards. But again, he had a size advantage on on every one of those quarterbacks and safeties in the ball game, and yet we did not get the ball to him in the red zone particularly. Red zone offense has hit a steel wall, and I guess you could call it a steel wall. We call it the Steel City, but we just can't score. We heard Coach Todd Bowles tell our TJ Reeves at halftime, we've got to start scoring touchdowns in the red zone, particularly when you got it 6 inches away. You got to cut it a touchdown, not settle for a field goal.
And not only the red zone, but the short yardage in general this season is really hasn't been what it should be. And that was a perfect example. I mean, they were 6 inches from the goal line, and they let a defender run free, and they had a 4-yard loss. So now it becomes a lot more difficult. And these are situations where the Bucs have consistently been able to convert on third downs, and over the last couple of years been great at getting touchdowns rather than settling for field goals. So offensively, they were off. Tom Brady was off a little bit with the accuracy, especially in the first half. He did feel some pressure. He had to get rid of it before he was ready at times, or rush some throws. But it's usually something they can overcome, and they just never were able to pull out of it.
Tampa Bay never led in this game. We're a heavy favorite coming into this ball game, and you mentioned we go 3-and-out first possession. They get ahead with a touchdown. First touchdown Kenny Pickett's thrown in his career, and it held up. We never took the lead, got it to within 1. But then that kickoff return to begin the second half. Let's talk about a little bit about special teams. Ryan Suckup matches a career best 54-yard field goal. He kicked 4. He's 4 for 4. He's missed only 1 field goal all season. So give a game ball to Ryan Suckup. I guess, can you give a game ball for Dicker? I mean, you're a special team, Dave. Give a game ball to Ryan Suckup, but a 54-yard field goal, 4 of 4. He kept us in the game.
He did, and that was a tough situation. That was a long field goal for him, but he was able to get it. And again, the special teams, for the most part, they gave up the big return, and then another one with a low trajectory punt, they were able to get another big return. So they lost some yards, those hidden yards we always talk about in the punt game. They lost some of that, which put the defense at a disadvantage. But the defense in general, you fight so hard to get third and long situations so you can pressure the quarterback and have opportunities for takeaways. They had 4 opportunities of 3rd and 10 plus in the second half, and the Steelers converted every one of them.
Yeah.
It was easier for them to get off the field on 3rd and 4 than it was 3rd and 11, 3rd and 16. So obviously the Bucs, you got to be able to win in those situations. We almost caught a break with the low snap and Delaney getting on it, but Trubisky was able to get it. But ultimately, you got to give the Steelers some credit. They came out, and at the end of that game, they were able to get first downs, force the Bucs to use their timeouts, and never gave the ball back to Tom Brady.
Yeah, keep the ball in Tom Brady's hands. That's a formula for victory, particularly for the home team playing the Buccaneers on their home field. Now, before we go, a final comment. Cameron Brate injured in the ball game. As we record this segment, we are not sure. He was taken to a hospital, and Coach Bowles and the team hoping he could fly home with the team, but we will give an update on Buccaneers.com early this week. But get well, Cam Brate. Boy, he took a shot head-to-head, and he was down, and you hate to see it.
He did give the thumbs up on the way out, so hopefully he's good.
Yeah, get well in a hurry, Cam Brate. Bucs are 3-3. Next week it's off to Carolina. We'll talk about that game next week. Go Bucs!